3, 2, 1.
You ready?
Listening to the Real Pineapple Podcast Network. Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. This is the Real Pineapple. This is your humble host, Hunter. I hope you're all having a great week or weekend whenever you're listening to this. I've got a review here for Everything Everywhere All at Once, which of course, you know, some people are liking. So, okay, I don't really know when I'm going to post this. I might sit on this review for a while, but everything, just to kind of get out of the way, there are very few films that I will draw a very hard line in the sand on. I mean, obviously I do my my best of and you know, love the movies I love, but there are very few times where I'll go, well, if you don't like this, you're just wrong. And I'm going to be real, y'all. This is one of those times where I saw this, oh god, when did I see this? I saw this about a month ago. I took a Friday off. I went and saw Ambulance, which you can check out that review that is on the channel already. And I checked this out. So I had a nice Friday to myself. It was very relaxing. And the thing that made me so happy about this movie is Michelle Yeoh, who you know from several things. You know, of course, from Gunpowder Milkshake, which I should review that. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Two Rings. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, obviously, Crazy Rich Asians, in which she is such a bitch in that movie. But Michelle Yeoh, she's one of those actresses that I'm so happy we still get to witness her brilliance, because, and this is totally random, but I have to throw this out there. I remember 2008. I was on a date, and I look over to my date, and we were watching a Babylon AD, that horrible Vin Diesel film. And I remember sitting there watching with her, and she was so into it. And I remember in my head going, oh my god, we're so not seeing each other again because that movie fucking sucks. And that year for Michelle Yeoh, she had Babylon AD and the goddamn Mummy, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor, which, oh god, I don't know which one of those movies I fucking hate more. And I remember leaving the theater thinking, god damn, Michelle Yeoh deserves better than this. And I'm not saying this is better than Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. I haven't seen it in a while, but I would actually like to watch them back to back. But this is one of those performances where I go, come Oscar time, and this won't get an Oscar nomination. It fucking should, but it probably won't. But it's one of those things where I go, as shitty as this world is to women, don't even get me started on the Roe v. Wade bullshit. But this woman's almost 60. She does most of her own stunts, and she brings this just very natural charisma and presence to the screen before she says a fucking word. I find that inspiring. And as I was watching this movie, I just went, you know, I had the same feeling when last year when I was watching Coda, or even thinking back to the direction in something like Lady Bird. Just thinking about movies I love now. This is a movie I have genuine I'm so grateful this film exists. I'm so happy that a studio like A24 exists, because as much as I love, you know, as much as I love my comic book films, I fucking love independent film. When you get something like this, when you get something like The Last Black Man in San Francisco, yes, obviously the summer blockbusters are great, and I'm not even going the whole road of, you know, superhero movies can't be cinema, because I'm not an asshole. But when you get smaller films like this and it gains traction and people are just digging on it, it reminds me of why I do the podcast. It just, it really made my heart happy, and I'm so excited for women to be able to discover this fucking movie. I wasn't able to see it with my partner, But the moment this is out on 4K, I'm buying it. I've been looking to see if I can pre-order it, and I can't yet, which sucks. But getting into the movie itself, Evelyn, who is of course played by Michelle Yeoh, she is a woman who is an immigrant. She has a daughter who's played by Stephanie Su, who you also know from Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. She's married to Ke Huy Quan, who plays Waymond. You know him as fucking Short Round from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. It's so crazy that he only has a few acting credits. He hasn't been in a film. He was in Finding Ohana. He was in that in 2021. But before that, it had been 20 years since he had a film role. And I just have to say, I know I just keep saying I'm happy, but it's just nice to watch a movie that makes you happy. And their marriage is anything but. He feels like he's really just being emasculated. I felt like I was watching Turning Red, where I'm just like, God damn, can you give this dude a break? Like, to partnership. Stop being so mean to him. And Waymond's dad is played by James Hong, who is fucking great. Fucking love James Hong. And they run a laundromat, and basically they're being audited by the IRS, which is, oh god, that must suck. They're being audited by Deidre, who's played, of course, by the lovely Jamie Lee Curtis. I won't even go through all of her filmography, but I'll just throw out Fish Called Wanda, Halloween, and Knives Out. True Lies, too. She's great in that. But the thing about this movie that's so fascinating is that from a very early point on, the movie kind of just lays its cards out. It's like, there's multiverse, we're going to get there. And I think what I love most about this movie is that, yes, the multiverse shit is bananas. It is fucking awesome. There isn't an action scene in this movie that I wasn't on the edge of my seat for, which I can't remember the last... Oh god, my brain automatically goes Winter Soldier, but when I think about, not comic book movie, maybe Mad Max Fury Road? Like, every action scene? Because the thing about this movie is that the action scenes are so varied. There's a great hallway fight scene with Evelyn that's very reminiscent of Daredevil. There's a scene where she's in an office where she ends up fighting a variant of another character, using the term variant, where she ends up fighting this other character with a riot gear shield. You see it in the trailer, and that sequence is fucking awesome. But the way they use the multiverse and the way that she's able to interact with other versions of herself, I'm trying to be very vague because I really want people to discover as much of this movie as they can without me spoiling it. This will be one of the rare times I don't go full spoilers. One thing about this movie, though, is that not only is the action great, the score, and I don't have who did the score, but the score is excellent. It feels very trippy, kind of very Rick and Morty-ish at points as the multiverse aspects begin to peer in more and the film gets more wonky. And I will personally say, I had an edible before I watched this. I'd recommend, if you like weed, I would get a little high before you see this, because the sequences in this movie are a mindfuck in the best way. There are a couple sequences where they show it in the trailer where there are rocks with googly eyes, and that whole sequence with rocks talking but not saying anything is something I didn't know I needed in the movie, but something I went, yeah, this is fucking awesome, not even questioning it. And the movie does a great job once it establishes the rules of the multiverse, which it does shockingly well, by the way. Once they throw those rules out and kind of establish it, I'm sitting here racking my brain. I can't think of a time where they at any point really go against their own multiverse rules, because we've talked about on the podcast before for, time travel films. There is a point in pretty much any time travel film where they kind of just go like, okay. Like they play, fast and loose with the rules. Here, they really just go, nah, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna stick by these rules that we've established, and it really does work for the film. Another thing I really love about this movie is that it shows how being bitter can go ahead and just affect everyone around you. Evelyn isn't at a point in her life where she thought she would be. She thought that with, being married and everything would fulfill her. And one of the things about that I find really interesting is I just finished rewatching Loki just because, Multiverse of Madness is coming up. And one thing that I love so much about Loki in that first episode especially is that episode works as a character study of Loki about how he's failed and how he's fallen short of his goals and how at the end of the day he's just a scared kid, whose life, even though he's a literal fucking god, didn't work out the way he wanted. Evelyn is really, as a character, just a bitter woman who, if she had just changed a couple things in her life, might be in a completely different spot, but is also trying to deal with the fact that she doesn't know how to talk to her daughter. I won't even say they've grown up, they're growing apart. They've grown apart. Her daughter just feels like over the shit and just really is at a point where she wants to cut her mom out. And I won't explain why they're at that point. But it's really fascinating, the juxtaposition between the two of them. And even though there's only a few main characters in this movie, the character development over a couple hour film, it's so prominent here, even though we're keeping the multiverse aspect very much in the, near the forefront. Because after the first 20 minutes or so, it's Multiverse City. And I just kind of was sitting there going, oh, okay, that's interesting. I mentioned it earlier that Evelyn is being audited. The whole initial multiverse premise starts there. And once it starts, it feels like it continues on this upward trajectory that I just went, yep, I love how you're handling all this. Jamie Lee Curtis, holy hell, you want, between New Girl and the new Halloween films, I mean, Jamie Lee Curtis is always, and Knives Out, obviously, she's usually great in pretty much fucking everything she's in, and I was just so happy to see Jamie Lee Curtis, because I completely forgot she was in this, and she fucking kills it here. It's great again, and I know I went on my whole, it's nice to actually see older women being able to be action stars rant earlier, but Jamie Lee Curtis still doing Halloween films in 2022. Fuck yeah. I love that. I love that this film exists. I know I keep saying it, but I love that this film exists. There is a point in this movie where it kind of lays its cards out about what this is about and why it's all happening. And honestly, I think, and this is by no means a complaint I have, but I could feel it potential being a complaint for people who just want to be sticklers. Sometimes, okay, how do I want to put this? Not everything needs a big twist. And I think that's going to bother people, because the reason why all of this is happening is, once it lays it out, it's oh, okay. But I actually love the fact that why everything is happening is so simple. It allows for it allows for an opportunity for Evelyn to potentially grow. But yeah, once you figure out why everything is kind of taking place and breaking down the way it does, I went, yeah, okay, that totally makes sense to me, and I actually love that the reasoning is that simple. Continuing on here, I didn't mention her yet, but Jenny Slate. You of course know her from her Stage Fright, which is actually really good, actually. Of course, Parks and Rec, the classic Alvin and the Chipmunks Shipwrecked. But Jenny Slate, she's great in here too. She plays a character called Big Nose, and which made me laugh pretty hard. But she gets to do some action stuff that I went, oh, okay, this works too. This movie is kind of hilariously, shockingly produced by the Russo brothers. Of course, the Russos, Community, Avengers films. Yeah, they're kind of good. It made me laugh to see their name on this. I was like, oh, all right, Russos. Like, why am I fucking surprised? There were a couple scenes of tension, and I'm gonna dance around these like a mother. There's a scene involving paper cuts that I went, oh my god, okay, that is insane. All right. The way they explain the strain of the multiverse is something that I really liked. It's a very simple analogy that they use, but I went, oh, okay, I can track that. They showed in the trailer the hot dog fingers universe was something I was like, oh fuck, that's really dark. Like, oh my god, all right. Like the body dysmorphia, the way they did that was actually really was pretty haunting. It's funny, but it's still, creepy. There is a point where they play a 90s song, like a one-hit wonder, a 90s song. I won't say what the song is, but when that song comes on, oh my god, I died. And it's used as such a great gag for where the film's at that point. I love that. I love that. And the last thing I'll point out is the film was broken up into parts, and each part, and this is going to sound almost like a backhanded compliment, but it's true. Every part builds on itself in a way that I went, yes. There isn't a part that feels wasted. There isn't a part that feels underdeveloped. It feels like a very natural progression, so that when you get to part 3, you are like, oh, hell yeah, I'm ready to see how this ends. And again, when it ends, I sat through the whole credits and just kind of let the film marinate and kind of just, like chewed on it. And it is one of those movies that I am so excited to have people over to watch. I haven't done a movie hosting party in a while because, pandemic still going on, people. But I will be having vaccinated friends over to watch this shit. This was something I just went, yeah. I can't wait to show my partner this. I can't wait to. I cannot wait to rediscover this film, be able to rewind parts of it. I really can't wait to delve deeper into this movie. This is a film that I can't see. And look, and I know I'm saying this, and we're not even halfway through the year. I can't foresee 9 other films that are better than this coming out this year. Again, will this get Oscar love? Maybe in cinematography. Well, actually, this is A24. Maybe it will. A24 yeah, you know what? Fuck, maybe this will get some Oscar love. But this is something that you need to see this. If this is playing in a theater near you, if you were feeling comfortable enough to go outside and, be out in public, I understand it's still a thing, people, trust me. But if you can go see this, please go see this. Like, this was such a wonderful surprise, and I don't think there's any need to do a sequel to this, but Michelle Yeoh is an actress. Just seeing her do action and continue to do it at such a high level. She's one of my favorite actresses working right now. I'm such a fan of hers, and I'm so proud of her and just so happy for everyone who's involved in this movie. And I'm so happy that this film exists. And please support this. Honestly, please support this. Like, if you're going to go see Doctor Strange this weekend, which, I mean, let's be real, you will, go see this too. Do a double feature. Actually, this would be a great double. Holy shit, I didn't even think about that. That would be a great double feature. This and Doctor Strange. But I'm so happy for Michelle Yeoh. I'm so happy for the directors, Dan Kwan and Daniel, I'm gonna butcher this, Schneider. Bravo, gentlemen. They also wrote the film. But, Oh wow, Dan Kwan. He wrote and produced Swiss Army Man, which I'm a fan of as well. Oh wow, they both did. All right, well shit, there we go. Congratulations, gentlemen. You crushed this. I can't wait to see what you guys do next. But everyone, have you seen this? Please tell me you've seen Everything Everywhere All at Once. Please go see it. I know I said it already. Go see it. Have you seen it? What'd you think of it? You can let us know in the comments. You can follow yours truly on the Twitter at JHunterRealPineapple. You can follow Scott on Twitter at Nearman1st. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You can find us on SoundCloud, Apple, Google Podcasts, Podbean, Stitcher, and iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Amazon Music, to name a few, at The Real Pineapple. You can follow yours truly on TikTok. I'm starting to do mini reviews and trailer breakdowns over there as well. So you can find me on TikTok at Black Shazam. And you can find me on Letterboxd at Black Shazam775. And don't forget to like both our pages on Facebook at The Real Pineapple. That's REEL Pineapple, and Real Pineapple Games. Thank you again so much, everyone, for your support. I love you all very, very much. Please stay safe out there. We will have more reviews and content coming soon. I don't know what, because I don't know when I'm going to post this. But again, stay safe out there, everyone. Wear a mask. Get boosted if you haven't yet. Tell someone you love them today. We all need to hear that more. And please stay safe out there, everyone. We will talk to you soon.